Obas, I'm Jack the Greek and welcome back for another episode. Today on the CrossRay BBQ we're going to go to the extremes. One of my friends caught a hare, beautiful lagó as they call it in Greece, and said to me, the challenge is on, Jack the Greek. Let's see if you can cook a hare on the CrossRay BBQ. And today we're going to use my mum's recipe and we're going to make hare stew, or in Greek we're going to make Lago Stifado. And we're going to make it with plenty of onions, a bit of sauce, olive oil, salt, pepper, and of course some cinnamon as well. And we're all going to cook it in this pan on the CrossRay BBQ for around about a couple of hours. And I reckon the challenge is, the first thing we're going to do is get our pan ready and put it on the CrossRay BBQ. We've got all 4 burners on high, and that's what we're going to use to start with. But for the majority of the cooking, we're going to have it on low. But let's put it on there. We're going to grab a little bit of olive oil, put it in the pan, just like that. And we're going to give that a couple of minutes just to warm up. And the first thing we're going to do, I'll explain how we're going to cook it. The beautiful Lago Stifado traditionally is cooked indoors, but of course today the challenge is on and we're going to cook it outdoors on the CrossRay BBQ. We're going to half fry our onions, little small onions just like this that have been cleaned already, and then we're going to remove them. We're going to put in the hare, we're going to fry that up as well, half cook it, and then put it all together. And then we're going to put the lid on with all our beautiful ingredients and let it simmer for at least 2 hours on low. That's how we're going to prepare it. So let's have a look now. Come in close and let's see where we are with our onions. I reckon, no, so you can see it's not frizzling yet. So we're going to give that another probably minute. But while we're there, let's look at our hare. Look at this beautiful lagó. Opas. Look at that. Isn't that great? Thanks to our friends who brought that over. But you did create a challenge for Jack the Greek to cook it on the CrossRay BBQ. Let's give it a go. So we don't cook it the way it is. We do have to cut it up like you'd cut up a chicken or rabbit. So it has got some strong bones towards the back, and as you get towards the front, it's a lot more easier. So what I will do is I'm just going to cut it here, just behind the legs, all the way down, like that. And what I'm going to do is just crack and break it, just like that. There we go, perfect. And of course these legs are also too big, so we're going to cut them in half as well, just straight down like that. There we go. Beautiful. We'll keep cutting that up. And if we need to use the axe, we'll just use that like that. And of course, we'll just cut this up. Just like that. We'll get rid of that. And of course with the leg, there are big pieces, so we are going to cut them a little bit smaller. But I will show you how we're going to do the rest. We'll cut it like this again. Just pieces like this. All the way across the stomach until we get to the rib cage. There we go. Turn it over to this side as well. Just like that. And of course, we'll crack it if we can. That makes it a bit easier. And then use the chopping. There we go. Bang. And there we go again. So we'll keep going in a minute, but I can smell the olive oil behind us. So let's come in close and let's see where we are with our onions. Just clean our hands a little bit and come back here. Yes. There you go. You can hear them now. So we'll put them in, just like that. You need about 1.5 bags of onions, and as you can see, I've got just enough to cover my pan, and that's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need just enough onions to put over the top of the hare once it's cooking. So we'll let that keep going. We now have our beautiful hare all chopped up in pieces. I like putting the pieces together so I know when I'm putting them in the casserole how I'm actually placing it all, to make sure that they're all going to cook evenly. So there we have it. We've cut it all up. Come in close. So I think we're done now with our onions. They're all caramelized and ready to go. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. There we go. Look at that. Excellent. So what we'll do is we'll remove them now from the pan. And at the same time, we're going to turn down our CrossRay BBQ, because we don't want to burn the hare when we put it in. So I'm going to take all these out. Here we go. Beautiful. That will sit on the side for around 10 minutes while we're browning and preparing our hare in the pan. And then we're not going to remove it at all. So we'll put them on the side, just like that. And we'll grab our pieces. So we'll bring this here, just so everyone can see. And we'll just put it in there like that. Put the meat side down, move all that around. Beautiful, look at that. Opas. I can already smell it. The aroma, the flavours. Put the legs in as well. Put a couple of ribs. And there we go. That's probably enough, I think, for the first dose. And then we'll put in the rest as well. So if you come back here, come in nice and close, you'll see the pan is all on low now. And all I'm going to do here is just make sure that they're all touching the base, just like that. And use my tongs to actually grab one more piece and just put it in like that. There. And then what we'll do is we'll turn it over. See that? See how it's browned already? We don't want to over brown it because we're not frying it. We're just giving it a bit of an edge within the pan with the onions. And we're not going to need to put this in much longer. And then we're going to let it cook a little bit. Just like that. And there we have it. One more. There we go. So we're going to leave that in there now. Another 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll put the other bits in. And by that time, we're ready to put back the onions, prepare our sauce, and giddy up. 2 hours later, we should have some beautiful hare stew, or in Greek as we call it, Lago Stifado. The next thing we're going to do is put a little bit of, no, it's not Greek cafe, but Mum says in a recipe, ένα φλιτζάνι κρασί, which means 1 Greek coffee cup of wine. Whatever that measurement is, we have to follow Mum's recipe. So come in and let's put that in. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in and just give it that beautiful wine sort of infused flavour. And that's just going to also just remove the gaminess of the hare as well a little bit. So we'll give that a couple of minutes just to get rid of the alcohol, and then we'll put in the onions. In the meantime, let's start preparing our sauce. So what we're going to do is grab a can of tomatoes, peeled tomatoes, diced. If you want to use fresh, you can as well. But we're just going to use diced tomatoes. So we'll put them in there, just like that. And there we go. We're also going to put a little bit of olive oil in here, just like that. We're going to put some salt, as if we're making a bit of like a sauce. There we go. We'll put some pepper, just like this, crushed pepper, ideal for this recipe. There we go, beautiful. And a couple of bay leaves. 1, 2, 1 more, why not? Keep an eye on it, it's going well. And of course, a couple of cinnamon sticks. So we'll grab a couple. Now if you get a big one, you're not going to put 2, are you? You're going to put just 1. So in this case, we'll probably put this one, but we'll break it up into 2. Just like this. There we go. So that one and that one there. Put them away. So there it is. Now, the last thing we need is a little bit of origano as well. That's a bit of a secret. Just like that. Perfect. And we're going to mix this up now. Like that. Just mix it up all together and just let it sit there for a minute. Now that our wine is reduced, and of course, remember, it's 1 café krasi, which means 1 Greek style coffee cup of wine. That's probably about 50 ml, I'd say. We've done that now. It's reduced and it's got rid of some of that gaminess. Now we're going to put the onions, and we put them straight on top, just like this. We don't mix it again, and we're not going to mix this meal until about the 1 hour mark. So we'll put all the onions in, just like that. Put that away. Grab our tongs and just move them around, just so they're evenly spread. Like that. Opas. Look at those beautiful onions. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so now that that's cooking away, we've got our sauce, our red sauce just here. the last thing we need to put in is our water. So we're going to put about half a cup of water, just like that. And we can always add a bit more later, that's not a problem. And we're just going to tip that on top, just like this. Right in the middle, spread it a little bit out. And trust me, when you put the lid, put a bit more water, just to get rid of that tomato. Like that. Put it in. Oh, bus. Put that away. That in itself now does not need to be stirred. We'll put the lid on, just like that. We'll put the lid down. We've got the 4 burners on low, which means it's going to sit at around 250 degrees. In about an hour, let's see what it looks like. And of course, remember, first time we're cooking a lago, a hare, stιφάδο on the CrossRay BBQ. So we don't know what it's going to look like or turn out like, but we're back in about an hour to see how it's going. We're cooking our beautiful lago, or our hare, in the CrossRay BBQ for around about an hour. It's about an hour and 10 minutes now. Come in close and let's have a look. I've got 2 burners on low, and I've got the other 2 burners off, because that's all we need. And you don't want to be over cooking it with too much heat. That's what it should look like. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. And you can see, if you noticed earlier, there wasn't that much fluids in the pan. And the reason why there wasn't that many fluids was because the onions hadn't started cooking. Remember, the onions will always, put this down, will always release fluids and liquids. So there it is there, look at that. Let's have a bit of a look at it. Oh, bas. Oh yes, it's cooking away beautifully. And you can see how the onion's on top. We don't want to unsettle it. And again, we're not going to be mixing it until the end. So what we'll do now is that's going all right. It might need a little bit of water towards the end, but for now there's enough in there. So we're going to put it back in the CrossRay BBQ with the 2 burners on low, and we're going to leave it for about just over 2 hours. Then we've been cooking a beautiful Lago Stifado. Yes, our hare stew. And of course, where else? On the CrossRay BBQ. Come in close, because it is ready, and I'll show you exactly how it's travelling. I've got 2 burners off and 2 on low, like I said earlier. And I've been watching it every sort of 20-30 minutes. And as you can see, it's a very, very gentle and slow boil. And look at that. That is beautiful. So let's just bring it out. Turn off our barbecue. Wow, this is going to be amazing. There was that challenge. Can we cook Lago Stifado on the CrossRay BBQ? And by just having a quick look at it. Opa. Ah, Teoreo. Beautiful. Opa. Look at this. Look at this. The juices are still there. It hasn't dried up. And you can see the beautiful onions, how they've caramelized. Let's have a look. Just have a bit of a taste here on the side. Bah, beautiful. Perfect salt, perfect pepper. Now, what I'm going to do is put the lid back on, let it rest for a couple of minutes. The sauce will thicken up just enough so we can then plate it up. Okay, so it's time to plate up now our beautiful Lago Stifado, our hare stew that we've been cooking on the CrossRay BBQ. I've let it sit for a couple of minutes, like I said, and there we have it, and that's probably enough now. So I'll put that away, just there. And now, it is quite a delicate dish, but let's have a look and just start plating it up a little bit. Some beautiful pieces just here. Oh, there we go, look at that. Beautiful. Put that in there. Let's grab another bit from here. Opa. Beautiful, look at that. There we go, look at that. Amazing. It's all falling apart. Look at this, just fell apart. Look, it's coming to a close look. How it just falls off. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Put the bone on the side. We'll just put the meat here. Just trying to find one of the legs that we had in here. It's got to be here somewhere. There we go, there's a bit of leg there. So there we have it. Beautiful stιφάδο. We'll put some, I want to be very gentle with the onions. I don't want to break them up. And we just put them around like this. Now our last few onions, just like that. And of course, I've just found The beautiful leg that we'll just put on top like that. There we go. Beautiful. There we have it. And of course, Nikki, that beautiful cavoodle, is getting excited as well. Let's just put that away, just over here for now, on the side, and let's have a look at our dish. Look at this. Beautiful. Lago Stifado, all cooked on the CrossRay BBQ by Jack the Greek. The challenge was there. Can we cook a lago on the CrossRay BBQ? Come in close, have another look at this beautiful dish. Beautiful, look at that. It just falls apart, and I will just use again just a fork to show you how it just falls off the bone. Look at that. Beautiful. There we have it. Our beautiful Lago Stifado, cooked on the CrossRay BBQ. Our hare stew. Everyone said it couldn't be done. The challenge was given to Jack the Greek, and he delivered. Thanks again for all my viewers and all your support. From Jack the Greek, opa.